Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about the books I read in February. I didn't read as much as I thought and hoped I would, but I still read plenty of books and I want to talk about them. I do have to say though that I did lose a whole week in February because I was watching Who the Bleep Did I Marry on, well, I think it was first uploaded on TikTok and then somebody uploaded them all onto YouTube. So I just watched like the YouTube thing and it was like an audiobook. So yeah, so if you watched that, it was literally a wild ride. But I did not read pretty much that whole week. I did read here and there, but I didn't. I was like very much listening to that like the whole time. And then I was also sick again at the beginning of February. So I was sick last month in January and then like towards the middle of it, and then actually on Valentine's Day I woke up sick. So yeah, I was sick again. Yay. But anyways, I am feeling much better now. I do still have a little bit of like congestion here and there, but for the most part it's good. So yeah, let's get started. I did read, let me see, I did read 4 books. This first one I started, I think, like the last day of January, and then I finished it in February, so we're counting it as a February read, and it is The League of Lady Poisoners. I do have a video in my, I think it's the fairy tale reading vlog that I have. At the end I talk about this book more in detail, like my thoughts and stuff of reading it, but it is a non-fiction book, and it's illustrated, which is nice. I'll show you. There's like illustrations of the ladies and things like that, and it's just, I mean, what the title says, serial poisoners, like, or they're lady poisoners. Some of them were serial killers technically. So I personally really enjoyed this book. I am a person who does watch like the ID channel and things like that, so if you're into those shows and things, this is probably a good read for you. And it's very historical, like the people that are written about in this book. It's like way back in the day, so that was cool. This was a good book. And then the next book I read was Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This book, I have a whole reading vlog about it. It's the last video to this. I'll link the other video and then this one down below so you guys can check it out if you want to. But I did have mixed emotions on this book. I think the first half I was really into it. I really enjoyed it. But then the second half, it just didn't do it for me. And I feel bad saying that because I know a lot of people love this book, but I wasn't one of them. I liked it, I just didn't love it. The plot twists in this book, they were more, for me, it was more of like, really, I didn't see them coming, but they weren't shocking to me. I don't know what that says about me, but it was still, I think if you're into sci-fi and if you're into like thriller-ish books, like plot twisty books, this one will be a good one for you. But I do think I went into it with very much high expectations, and I think I overhyped it in my head. So Dark Matter. This is going to be a TV series, so I'm actually excited to watch the TV series because I think it'll be very good on TV. But yeah, I recommend it still, although it didn't really work for me, but I didn't hate it. I think a lot of people would enjoy. The next book I read and I loved was The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampire by Grady Hendrix. This book I loved. This book had a lot going on, like a lot. I read this while I was sick, so I don't have like a reading vlog for it, but honestly I wish I would have recorded myself reading this because there were so many plot twists that I was like, not even plot twists, it was more, there's a lot of shock factor in here. Like there were scenes in here that were so gruesome that I was like, am I reading that right? And I would kind of reread it and I'm like, no, yeah, that's what it says. So I really enjoyed this book. It had a lot of drama, it had a lot of suspense, and then like I said, like all those like details in some scenes, I was like, whoa. It is a little bit, I think, Pulp Fiction-y, which apparently I like, so I highly recommend the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. It's good. Yeah, Grady Hendrix, I'm excited. I do have another book in my bookshelves by him. My bookshelves are not currently alphabetized, so I can't find it, but I do have, I think, the Exorcism one, whatever the title is, My Best Friend's Exorcism or something like that. So I'm excited to pick that one up, but I'm kind of waiting until like this one kind of dies down in my head and in my heart to pick up the other one, because then I don't want to be let down if it's not as good as this one. But yeah, this book has my heart. I loved it. I hope you guys have coffee or tea or water. And then there is another book that I did start. I didn't finish it, and that's because I am taking my time with it. It's the Get Out of Your Head, Stopping the Spiral of Toxic Thoughts. This is a Christian book, and it is one of the ones that I took out of the TBR jar for February. And when I started reading it, I realized it's not a book that I want to not rush, but like I just don't want to read it, you know, like nonstop. I want to pause and like really reflect and pray and like, you know, work some things out that speak to me in this book with God before I move to like the next like chapter or the next part in this book. So I am currently reading this. Again, it's not a book I want to just read to read, like, because it's, you know, it's not a fiction or nonfiction book. It's I guess it's a self-help book, but yeah, I just want to take my time with this one. I highly recommend it. It's been really, really, really good. It does also, it's not one of those, so far from what I read, and I think it's a good thing, is it's not one of those like, it's all in your head, you know, like you have to pray through it. No, it's not one of those. It's one of those, it's more of like, hey, you know, before you move on, you might want to talk to a doctor because there are certain like things that could affect, you know, why you're like so much in your head and things like that, and like there's that understanding. I like this book, and I think, you know, if you're a believer, I think this is a good book if you are also an overthinker, but it does also encourage you to seek medical and professional help before you continue this book. So I personally really liked that about it, so I am reading it, And then the recent and last book that I read is Divine Rivals. I just bought this yesterday, so yeah, I had reserved this at the library, and it came as an ebook, so that's why I read it in an ebook. And this hit me out of nowhere. Like the first, I want to say like 1/4 of the book, like the first part, like once you read it, you'll know what the first part of the book is. I found it a little too cheesy. I was like, I kind of don't like it. I don't know if this is for me. I considered DNFing, but then, you know, you get to the next part, or like you'll know. Once you read it, you'll know. But you get to like the next part of the book, and things just escalated quickly. Yeah, like this Divine Rivals, it's a romantasy, but it's I mean, so it's fantasy, right? And they're at war and things like that. So those scenes escalated quickly, and like the whole thing, and the emotional aspects of this hit me out of nowhere, honestly. Like I was not expecting to cry so much during this book, and I feel like the second half of the book I was just crying on a moment's notice. Like I was just reading, and out of nowhere it just hit me. Even thinking about it, I kind of want to cry. But it's a good book. It's the romance in this book is the kind of romance I like, where the characters connect not so much on a physical level. Like the physicality of the characters is not heavy, you know. I mean, they're good looking people, you know that right off the bat, but that's not why they fell in love. And I love that. Like it was an emotional connection and things, like, you know, deep emotional connection. And I love that, and the growth that these characters have and things like that, it's just so good. And then the fantasy aspect of it, like the war and like all these other things, it's hard to read, but it's good. Like I said, I was crying the second half of this book. I was just like tearing while I was reading it. I did finish this like at 2 a.m. because I couldn't put it down. I got to a part where I was like, I can't put this down anymore. And I was sitting in bed at 2 o'clock in the morning just crying because of the ending. So it's a good book. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. And because this is part of a duology, is that what it's called? It's 2 books in the series. I did pick up the second one, which is Ruthless Vows, and as you can tell, I am currently reading it. I might finish it by the end of this month. I mean, we have like 2 more days left in the month, so I might finish it, but I might not. So excuse me. So this might be in my March wrap up, but I am currently reading it, and the heartbreak continues, and I cannot wait to finish, to see, hopefully they have a happy ending. I mean, I don't know what that would be, but yeah, it's just so good. I'm really, 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 really enjoying this book. I did buy these yesterday at Target. So, here, because we don't gatekeep these things. Every once in a while, check on Target, on like the Target app, because they put their books on sale if you buy online. And that doesn't necessarily mean like buy online and they'll ship it to your house and you have to pay like the shipping. You could also buy online and pick up at store, or like do the drive up. These books were $11 at Target yesterday. And then if you spent over like $25, they gave you like $5 back. So check your Target app every once in a while and see if the books are on sale, like on the online, you know, buy online type of thing. Yeah, so I did buy yesterday the first one again because I read it on my Kindle, and then I was like, I need these for my library, because honestly this is like the first book in a while where I have felt like I want to reread it as soon as I finish this book. It was just so good. Yeah, it was just so good. So I'll probably end up rereading this once a year or something, because this book is just, it's really good. I think everybody should read this book. It's a nice book. So like I said, I am currently reading Ruthless Vows, and I am currently reading Get Out of Your Head. This one I'm not in a rush to finish. Like I said, I'm taking my time. This one I want to finish just because I want to know what happens, and I want to see, yeah, I just want to see what happens. This one is a lot more world building so far. Let's see how many pages. I'm 136 pages into this book, and so far it is a lot more world building. You are getting a lot more history of like the gods and things like that, but you're also getting some things, like some of the behind the scenes, or like what was going on to certain scenes from the first book. So like, for example, if one of the main characters was like, he went into like the office and he was upset because he had gotten in a fight with his dad. In this book, you're getting the why he got in a fight with his dad and like all these things, and you realize just how much more in depth the reasoning in this book is, because you get the behind, like the reasoning why he did certain things in this, or like I'm just saying he, but you get the why in this book of things they did in this book and decisions they made that you already knew they were good decisions or bad decisions or whatever, and they just, the weight of these decisions, this carries the weight of them. So I like books like that. I like books that connect very much like that. I mean, duh, that's why it's like a whole series, right? But yeah, so I am in love with these books. Like I said, the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. I love this book because this was a good time. Like, this was just good time. This is more emotional good time, and I love it. So I highly recommend. And that is all I have. If not, I'm just gonna start repeating myself again. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys read and loved in the month of February. And I know that the beginning of the year, some readers fall into like reading slumps and things like that. So if you're currently in a reading slump, I wish you nothing but the best, and that hopefully this slump passes over, and that you're able to then pick up a really good book, and it's gonna be everything you've ever hoped for and more, because it sucks being in a reading slump. I currently have a friend that's in one, and there's really no way to get out of it besides just waiting it out. So yeah, I hope you guys, I really hope you guys have a great next month of reading, the month of March. And yeah, let's get back to reading. Bye.